Hello, everyone. Welcome to Free Write Friday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica Lynn Johnson, and I am the founder of Soaring Solo Studios. And that's a company dedicated to the development and direction of solo shows. So thank you for being here today. Um, I'd love to tell you a little bit about my background. Again, for those who don't know me, I'm a solo artist myself. I toured for over 13 years with two of my own solo shows, and I have ideas percolating for a third one. And I'm currently working on a book about how to write and produce and tour with solo shows. And my team at Soaring Solo consists of Heather Dowling and myself. Heather is also an award-winning solo artist and director. So she teaches with Soaring Solo Studios as well. And we are blessed to work with people all over the globe and help them tell their stories from stage. I've been doing some form of this work for about 20 years now. So I've been in this field for a long time and have worked with hundreds of artists and have directly developed and directed about 150 plus solo shows at this point. So I'm definitely a nerd for solo. I love it. It's my passion. And I am on the advisory board with the LA Women's Theater Festival, which is an amazing nonprofit that I hope you'll look into. And a blogger for NoHo Arts. So I write a blog called Soaring Solo, and it has a bunch of free tips and information for solo artists. So you can find that on the NoHo Arts website, and I'll put the link for that in the chat later. And I'd love to hear from you. So please say hi, let me know where you're tuning in from, where you're at in your solo theater journey. I'd love to have everybody get to know one another and how we can support each other. And the mission of Free Write Friday is just for us to come together on a Friday and write, look at playwriting structure specifically for solo shows and character development and all those sorts of things. So hopefully if you catch up on the ones you've missed, if you go to my YouTube channel and keep doing these sessions, you're going to accumulate enough content to complete a script, which would be the goal. And the next one of these, if you enjoy today and want to come back, is happening Friday, July 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And again, I'll put that in the chat later. Let's see. Please make sure you have something nearby you to write with or write on, or sometimes a good exercise can be just to record yourself and transcribe it later. That way you can kind of find a more natural speaking voice. Sometimes that works better for people. So feel free to do that today too, if that works better for you. And I think that's really it. Okay, so we've been looking at Save the Cat by Blake Snyder, who's a Hollywood screenplay writer, but we're applying his Save the Cat beat sheet to solo show structure and using some of his beats toward the development of a solo show. So now we're on beat 10, and don't worry if you haven't been tuning in and this is your first time. These are all meant to be standalone pieces as well, so you can still write with us today and get something out of it. But beat 10 is called Bad Guys Close In. Bad Guys Close In. And basically this is when the protagonist is pretty close to getting what they want. They've made some some positive changes, things are going well, and the bad guys close in. The bad guys present obstacles, challenges, things that stand in the way of our hero getting to this this better point in their trajectory. So some examples that I'll use from some solo shows in our community, in the Soaring Solo community, to illustrate this point would be Breakup Addict. So in Breakup Addict by Paige Wilhide, she's going through the journey of love addiction and also some addiction to some other things as well throughout the show. And this is demonstrated through the personification of a character named Addict, who is present throughout most of the show. And as the show begins to get closer to wrapping up, Paige is trying to break up with her addict, and the addict definitely puts up a fight and at first tries to dissuade her from doing that with sweet talking her and reminding her of all the good times they've had together, but also then tries some more abrasive tactics, saying, oh, what have you got to defeat me and things like that. And So that's a good example of how um, it's not a literal person, but it is an antagonist or an enemy, a bad guy in the show that she's having to face off with to further her growth as a character. Another example, and this is also a use of personification, would be in Halima Maggior's show, Who Am I? A Human Revolution. She has the character of Fun D, and Fun D is short for fundamental darkness. And that is a character that is present throughout most of the show, who also challenges Halima and her growth. And toward the end of the show, similarly, she's trying to lessen Fundi's impact on her life through the character of Buddhista. And Buddhista represents Buddhism and Halima's spiritual practices that help strengthen her. So you see Fundi and Buddhista kind of argue it out over Halima's soul and her life path. And Fundi doesn't totally go away, nor did Addict and Page's show. It's not that they're totally gone and everything's perfect, but the impact of their voices in the script is lessened. Um, and then I'll bring up an older show from our community called Leaving Prince Charming. And this was a literal antagonist, a person. In Leaving Prince Charming, Laura Repko explores narcissistic abuse. And so her boyfriend in the show is a narcissist and physically and verbally abuses her. And there's a scene where she is finally aware through therapy and things like that what she went through, and she's trying to get away from him, and a physical fight breaks out on stage, which is really interesting to look at in solo theater, how you choreograph playing both characters in a moment like that. But yes, essentially, she's facing off with the bad guy in her show as she's trying to grow, as she's trying to break out of a negative cycle. So in today's writing, I want you to, and we're only going to have 8 minutes, so don't overthink it. Just really let yourself be uncensored and explore on the page or your audio recorder. I want you to think about the bad guys in your own life. And even if that's not the framework in which you see the world, just for, participating today, try and imagine people who have had negative impact or negative influence or personification. So perhaps addictions, personality traits. It could be amalgamations, maybe a multitude of people that you make one composite character. Like, let's say the whole cheerleading squad was bitchy to you. So you make one cheerleader character who represents that bad guy, for example. So I want you to think about the bad guys in your life. And I want you to think about those moments of trying to grow, being on the cusp of bettering yourself or your circumstance, and that bad guy was just holding you back. And what does that look like in a scene, or what does that look like in a monologue? What does that look like as a character? And just write freely about it. So maybe a poetry will come up for you, maybe dance number will come up for you, maybe scene work between you and this antagonist bad guy character. Or just a monologue from their perspective or yours. Again, there's a lot of different possibilities to express this sort of a thing, but I'm going to give you 8 minutes, and I just want you to write freely about it. If you have any questions, you can privately chat me. All right, thanks everyone, and I'll let you know when your 8 minutes are up. About 3.5 minutes left. And just under a minute left. Okay, please go ahead and wrap up your writing. Um, Hopefully you got something useful out of that. I would say um, probably the biggest takeaway is just that in our solo shows and looking at our life as plays, we need the antagonists just like we need protagonists. We need the mentors and the allies and the enemies and all the different types of characters, and that helps create the obstacles, the challenges, the dramatic tension, and the arc of our story. So, and I also find that when solo artists try to be too perfect on stage, that really distances the audience, because we all are aware that we're human and we're flawed, and we have challenges and all of that. So the more authentic and vulnerable we can be about that in our solo shows, um, the more we're going to relate to our audience and that they're going to relate to us, and the closer that connection between the audience and ourselves will be. So something to think about. Um, and as you'll see in the chat, I put some announcements. We've got a lot of things going on in our community, so I'll just roll through those before we wrap up today. My free class, The Art of Creating the One-Person Play, which is a 90-minute free class where I take you through a writing prompt, usually through meditation and visualization, We write together. You have an opportunity to share your writing in my free class, and you can also bring prepared work. So like whatever you wrote today, perhaps maybe you want to bring to my free class and get some feedback on that in the class setting and connect with other artists. So that's on Zoom on Saturday, July 22nd, 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up on my website under free stuff. And if you wanted to work with myself or Heather in a more professional capacity, there's never any pressure to do that, but you're more than welcome to fill out a contact form on my website, or just write me at soaringsoloartist@gmail.com, and either myself or Persephone, the Soaring Solo assistant, will get back to you with available times for one-on-ones, pairs, small group intensives, the various offerings that we have. And if you're looking to put a stake in the ground, something meaningful to work toward, but you don't feel quite ready to do a full preview or premiere of your solo show, I would recommend being part of the Revealed virtual reading series. I usually produce one of those a month, sometimes more. And Revealed just allows you to share a work in progress, share your script as a work in progress to a virtual audience, and get feedback on what's working, what's not working in a safe and supportive creative container. And I would act as producer of that event and help you get butts in seats virtually. And the next one of those, if you want to check it out and see if it's a good fit for you, is happening this coming Tuesday, June 27th from 2 to 4 Pacific, 5 to 7 Eastern. It's featuring soaring solo artist Karen Trachtenberg with reflections of a cisgender white woman. And it's just about her somewhat tumultuous relationship with her mother, and features a lot of different characters and ideas for multimedia and things like that. So it'll be great to have you tune in and share in the conversation after she reads the script with your ideas for improvements, edits, all of that sort of thing, and just to show your support. And it's donation based, so you can give $1, you can give $10, whatever you can swing, and all of that goes to her production costs for when she does mount the show. So it'd be good to tune in and see what it's like if you think you might be interested in doing one day. And then the next FREEWrite Friday, as I said, is happening Friday, July 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. I also included the link to my YouTube channel, so you can watch all the FREEWrite Fridays that you may have missed on there. And I have over 100 other videos of free content as well to help you on your journey. So feel free to check out my YouTube channel. And then we have a lot of solo theater festivals, or festivals that have a category of solo that happen year round, both locally and internationally. I really believe in the festival circuit. I think that is such a smart way to build your accolades, build your press kit, get not only, critic and reviews, but also audience reviews, footage, action shots. I mean, I could go on with all the perks of being involved in a festival, but I listed some of the ones that I know of that are in the chat. And right now we are in the final week and weekend of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Soaring Solo has 14 productions in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. So if you haven't been seeing them, please go this weekend and see things as they're closing. And I heard from a little birdie that several of the shows are going to get encores and will be presented in July as the best of what the Hollywood Fringe had to offer this year. So I will let you know as soon as I know when that is all official and what those dates are. But I would definitely try and go this weekend and see stuff. And you can use the Soaring Solo discount code. So it's just Soaring Solo, all lowercase, all one word, for your discounted tickets to Soaring Solo Productions. And that's all on my website under the events page. And then I'm going to be co-producing the Soaring Solo Stars series in December with Heather Dowling and myself. We'll be doing that at the Zephyr Theater in West Hollywood. And whether you're local to LA or you want to fly in and do a performance, I will be taking submissions for that. Probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll start doing that. Once I can get through the rest of Hollywood Fringe, we'll shift gears to Stars. So feel free to write me about that if you're interested in learning the particulars. But it's going to be a fantastic festival, and the Zephyr is a beautiful, intimate space for solo shows with beautiful tech capabilities with their lighting grid and their screen and just all that they offer. So huge fan of the Zephyr, and the Star series will be in December. And then I also included the link to my blog for NoHo Arts. And then I almost forgot to mention this, but as I said, I'm on the advisory board with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. I've been involved with them since 2009. We're doing an event this weekend called Hot Off the Press, and I will be co-hosting it. And Hot Off the Press is another space where new work can be read. And on occasion, we do present men as well for LA Women's Theater Festival. And in fact, Danny Glover is one of our co-founders. And he's been a huge advocate of the work that we do with LA Women's Theater Festival. So Hot Off the Press is happening tomorrow, Saturday, June 24th at 6 p.m. Pacific. It's $10, and that includes some raffle tickets if you want to be in the running for winning things. And I put the link to that in the chat. I'll also be sending an email blast for those of you who are on my mailer today with more details. So anyway, that's a lot. I threw a lot at you, but we always have a lot going on. So I'll leave the chat up for a few minutes so that you all can jot down the different things that we've got going on and say hi to one another. But thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.